Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Episode number 6. I'm like losing track of what episodes we're on and whatnot, but today's episode is gonna be more like an interview type episode, just because if you follow me on Instagram, I'm getting over sickness. I got COVID, and so we're just regrouping, trying to feel better and just trying to catch up with life, basically. But so I wanted today to still have an episode because we missed a week, and I wanted it to be a little bit more chill. I was debating if I should have this one be the mental health one, because I do want to talk about mental health, and I want an episode on my podcast just to speak about mental health. I'm super big on mental health and just kind of go through that. And I play it by ear, and I'm not feeling it today to do a mental health one. And so we're just going to do a more chill, kind of fun, laid back type of interview style episode. And the way we're going to do that, I asked you guys to send questions over, anything you want to know about me or any questions you might have just about anything really. And so I got my questions ready, and we're just gonna, get into them. And yeah, I actually do have a random thought for today's episode. I know we haven't done one in a little bit, but it's more like a convo one, not so much you'll see. But the random thought I've had is, how or who decided that we just need to pick one thing that we like and stick with it, just become professionals at it and stick with it. And this stems from finding my way through social media. You hear it all the time that you have to have a niche, that you have to appeal to a certain targeted audience and whatnot. And yeah, I agree in some of that, but at the same time, within myself, I like so many things. I have never found a niche. I can never tell you that I'm in this category and that's it. Mainly, for example, Instagram, I do OOTDs, which I haven't in a while. Oh, I know, don't get me started. But anyways, and so who decided that that's what we need to do? And then it got me thinking, for life as well, for example, when you're a kid and your parents ask you, what do you want to be? And you're like, an astronaut, a firefighter. And so, or a magician, or even something crazy like a unicorn. Well, you don't tell that kid no, because you're only going to choose one thing, right, in your whole life, and you cannot be a unicorn. You just kind of go with it. So why do we lose that? Why can't we just go with it? And when we're teens, which also, don't get me started with school either, but when you're a teen, you're supposed to know what your interest is and even pick a career, because you got to get started and go with it. That also blows my mind. And where I'm going at is, I think it's okay that when you were in your 20s, you had this specific niche. And I think it's even okay to have multiple niches. And so you had that, you liked it, and then you are evolving as a person. You're never, or I hope you never stay stagnant, right? You evolve and you learn and you grow, and then you can shift your interest, or you can shift what you want to do. And so then it's also okay for later in life, maybe in your 30s, even 40s, to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And even if that means start a different career path, or start a business. Also, it's never too late to start a business. So those kinds of things, I'm just why do we have to stick with one profession through our whole life, perfected? And what if at 50 I no longer want to do what I'm doing, and I'm just you know what, I think I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna be a gardener. Why can't I just say that? Or a farmer, why can't we just switch? Then not just say, well, no, that's not you because you're a sales agent right now. You're a realtor right now. It's well, yeah, right now, right? We don't have to be one thing forever. Or is that just me? because I don't think we have to be one thing forever. I think you can choose what you want to be. All right, had to take a little break because as you heard, baby woke up. He's back asleep, we hope. And we're going to get back into it. So, yeah, that's my little random thought of the day. Let's just be what we want to be at the time that we want to be. And our professions, in my opinion, should not be what define ourselves, our personalities. Like, if you're a teacher, it's not just you are a teacher. Like, you are yourself, and that's what you do. You teach. Am I making sense? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. All right, so let's get into these questions. I want to say I have a good amount. We'll see how long this goes. And if it's too short, we'll add some more. We'll just see. Again, I play everything by ear, and we're just going to see how this goes. Okay. The first question, and I'm not going in any particular order because the questions come in at random, and then I wrote things down yesterday, or I wrote half of the questions down, but more came in through the night, so I'm just going to have my phone open as well. First one, quick and simple. Do you have a middle name? I don't. And I also get asked if my baby has a middle name, and he doesn't. I wanted one at some point just because his name is very short and his last name is also very short. And so I thought maybe something in the middle to break it up would be nice. But we thought we had like a whole weekend to sit on something, on a name, and maybe decide. But the way, things went, and he came a day earlier than planned. And so our weekend plans did not go as planned. And so I didn't want that pressure of just choosing one because I had to. And so we just filled out the paperwork with his first name, and that's it. But for me, no, I don't have a middle name. None of my siblings do. And yeah, we don't have a middle name. I also don't have, I know it's like common in the Latino or at least Mexican culture that you also take on your mom's last name. So like you have your dad's last name and then your mom's. I also don't have that. I don't have my mom's last name. I just have my dad's last name. My sister, for some reason, out of the three of us, she's the only one that does have my mom's last name. So she has her first name, dad's last name, and then my mom's last name. And then for some reason, my brother and I just don't. So you can tell there that somebody different, either mom or dad, filled out the birth certificate thing. Okay, next one. How are you today? This question is so sweet. These kinds of questions are just nice. How am I today? I am a lot better today physically. If you've gotten COVID, you kind of know, how it goes. And it's a lot harder when you have another human being that you have to take care of. So he got sick first, of course, then I caught it, being the caretaker. And it's been okay. Like, it's not too bad. The hard part, I think, is just trying to keep up with everything and not having a full day of rest to really just heal and feel better. So that's been the challenge, but I feel a lot better. I don't feel as sick anymore. I just have that lingering cough, if that makes sense. Like, when you're sick and you just have that cough that doesn't go away. But other than that, my body feels perfectly fine. Not perfectly fine. I'm still like hurting here and there. And mentally, I'm all right too. I have my moments for sure, which I guess we'll just leave that all for the mental health episode. I'm planning on recording that one next. But overall, I'd say I feel all right. We are good. And yeah, just taking it day by day. All right, next question. What's your dream house? This one is also a very nice question. So my dream house. Going back to like changing as you grow and like what you like and your interests, I thought I'd always wanted like a very slick, modern, sharp edge looking house. But as my style changes, and I think the older I get, and also now having a baby, I just want more of a like farmhouse style home or ranch style home, but like modern farmhouse, I'd say would be like my dream house. Um, I also used to think like I need to have this humongous house when I grow up, and like the bigger the better, and it's just not realistic for me anymore. Like I could care less, especially if I have to clean the house. No, thank you. I think as long as it's a good size home where we're comfortable, we have space for what we want to do, whether that's office space. I do want an art room for sure, though, in my next house. Like, I need to have an art room. You guys should see the setup I have right now, and it's not good. And I want an art room where I can have a dedicated space to do my arts and crafts and everything I like, and allowing it to get messy without having to worry of like ruining like my kitchen table and stuff. um so that would be a plus. I think at least 4 bedrooms so that we can have like a guest room, and then I want more than one kid so that each one can have their rooms. Office space for sure. What else? My husband would say we definitely need a garage, and a big one. So I guess that one would have to be part of the dream house. And then the biggest thing also for me, I need to have land. Like, I need to have a good chunk of land, whether that's a huge backyard or whatever, but I need to have this good sized living outdoor space where, if you guys don't know this about me, I have always wanted to grow food, like my own vegetables. Like, I want a garden. I want beds, garden beds outside, and I want to grow cucumbers and tomatoes and lettuce. Like, I just want to grow that stuff. And so I need space for that, but other than what it would look like, I feel like that changes. So I think I want it very neutral, where if I do want to change the decor, it's easy to do and kind of everything goes with it. I also used to want like the gray floors, and recently I'm shifting to a more mature look. Like, for example, like our bedroom, I changed it to more like, I don't want to say grown up colors because there's no such thing, but in my mind, when I think about it, that's what I think. Like, I have like deep greens, I have a more dark wood vibe going on with some, greenery with the plants and the black metal frames, stuff like that. If like that's kind of the style, and so that's how I imagine my house right now. But for the like babies, bright rooms with lots of color, and I'm not a neon type of color, so like I describe color more like the pastel looking color vibes. But yeah, I think a good sized kitchen. I'm not much of a cook, but a good sized kitchen. I One thing I do want overall in my house is to be bright. Like, I want it to feel light. So not so much dark colored walls, or I just want bright, like bright where the light comes in, and so maybe lots of windows or tall windows, bright countertops if I'm gonna have dark cabinets, or vice versa, like dark cabinets if I'm or dark, what was it say, light cabinets if I'm gonna have dark, you know what I mean. I just had like a brain fart. Okay, next one. Did having a baby change your relationship with your husband in any way? This, you got had some great questions. So this one, is my coffee spilling? Um, this one, yes. Hold on, let me take a sip of coffee. This is a good one. Um, yes, having a baby definitely changed the relationship with my husband, but in a very good way. I'd say we are stronger than ever, and it almost feels like we're closer than ever before. I did have a fear that, when you have a kid, life gets busy, and I just, especially like working from home and just kind of me being the main one that stays with the baby, I had a fear that maybe like we would grow apart or we just wouldn't have time for each other. And don't get me wrong, we still don't have very much time for each other, but the way that my husband has shown up for myself in supporting me, in helping wherever he can, has just been something that I don't think I could ever like put into words or ask him to do, because he's just been able to show up and do that. And I'll also talk a little bit about this in the next mental health, because I do think it has a good correlation. But he's not only physically helping me, which I've always wanted, like who doesn't want help from their husband, but also he has shown up for me mentally in ways that I didn't even think I needed him to show up for. And so postpartum depression is definitely a thing. Postpartum anxiety is definitely a thing. And he's been able to be there with me to help navigate our family basically through hard times. And so even like when Avan was born, he was there physically because I had a C-section, and so I needed, help and stuff like that. And the way he has shown up to be a dad, first of all, I always knew he was going to be involved as a dad. Like, I just knew he was going to be hands-on. But seeing it is completely different than thinking about it. And so I think our love for each other has grown because I see how he has stepped up to the plate and done things. And then vice versa, I think he has seen what I have gone through and the things that we both have to get through and the challenges. And so I think we have shown up for each other and amazed each other in ways that we honestly didn't even know we could, because we just didn't know what was coming. You can prepare for parenthood as much as possible, but I don't think you're ever gonna, I don't think you're ever gonna really be prepared. So watching him in action, I can only speak for myself, but I feel secure that both of us have felt that we have grown stronger and feel closer. And when you say like you love them more, like you love watching your spouse become a parent, I think we do love each other more, but also in a different way. Like our love is just grown and it's deeper, and the respect for each other has grown. I don't know how to describe it other than, yes, it's changed in such a good way. And I think, yeah, like I couldn't have asked for a better outcome of how we're loving each other and how strong our relationship is now. And truly, truly, if I felt like a team before baby, definitely feel like a way better, stronger team now. So yeah, it's definitely changed in many ways, but I think all for very, very good ways. And I hope that we keep the strength that we have had to maneuver through challenges. And I know we're going to have more challenges to come. And yeah, it's, we're only stronger and, in my opinion, only getting better. This one, opinion on birds. Whoever sent this question, shout out to you. Very creative. I don't know my opinion on birds because I've never thought about birds in a way that I need to have an opinion. Birds. Okay, here's my opinion, or here's what I think when I think about birds. Freedom. I think it's because they fly. Like that seems so free. My mom would definitely have an opinion on birds because when the last house they were at, there was this red bird that would tap on her kitchen window. I mean, this bird became so familiar. My dad built a birdhouse for this little guy. Or I think was that yeah. And this little bird would show up and just tap very early in the morning, 5, 6 a.m. And it was a red bird. And so my mom has connection with red birds because my grandma used to tell her something about the red birds being, I don't know, like a good luck term. I honestly don't know what my grandma would tell my mom about these red birds, but that was a connection. Grandma would talk about red birds, and this red bird would always go and knock. And then when they were buying the house that they're at now, I think at the beginning they had visit from, I don't know if it's the same bird, I highly doubt it, but that's just me. But they had the little red bird show up again. So they were doing some remodels, so they were still at the old house, and then they would be at the new house here and there. And they saw the red bird again at this house, and they're not close. So, that was definitely a symbol for her. So I think birds can maybe show up in that way for a symbol, or, but that's all I have for my opinion on birds. Some birds are pretty. Some birds are annoying, like the ones that wake me up in the mornings in the summer. But yeah, there's that. Do you prefer to speak or listen? I prefer both. I prefer to. It's depends. What is like. Are you having a deep conversation with somebody? I think both are important. I think you need to listen before you speak. One thing that I have learned about myself is I do like to speak, and I have to remind myself to wait my turn because I get so eager to just voice what's next, because sometimes I almost think like other people's opinions are gonna discredit mine, or what I'm about to say next is not gonna have as a greater value because somebody else already said it. And so I've had to learn to wait my turn. But I say I like both. I prefer, it's not that I prefer one or the other, because at times you do need to listen, and then you can speak, if that makes sense. But in terms of, I don't want to say prefer, but more like what's easier for me. And I think speaking is easier for me because I'm already digesting as you're speaking to me, and my brain is already like thinking and putting together a statement and, wanting to go for it. So I've had to learn to wait my turn. And there's a difference between like listening and actively listening. So that's also something I've had to learn. But once you do that, conversation flows a lot better, because I've had conversations, or I've met people that we just don't know how to conversate, and it's more of a debate. Like you're standing in your corners and you're throwing words to the middle of the room, defending your corner, and there's not much of conversation. And so I think learning to do both and when you can do it is definitely important. My biggest red flag is just the biggest red flag. So I'm going to say or assume this question is like what I consider red flags. And not so much do I have red flags, because I'm sure I do. But biggest red flags, this one can go different ways, because are you talking about in a relationship or just in people in general? But I'll do quick both. In a relationship, a red flag for me would be having a conversation with your partner. For example, like if you say, hey, this and this trigger me, or I didn't like that, or that's not what I stand for, or whatever, and then you make it clear and you make it a point, but then they go on and either trigger you again or do that thing that you specifically mentioned, like I don't like that, or I don't like when you did this to me and then they still do it, I think that's a red flag. There could also be context, like maybe they just need more chances, but I think that's a red flag because they're not willing. To me, it's showing that they're not willing to maybe meet you halfway. Also, and this could be controversial, not paying for something. But let me give you context, because I do think like 50-50 is very fair and that's good. But like in certain things, you want to be taken care of. For example, like on a first date, I had a first date and we went to an event, and as a girl, I feel like a lot of girls are expecting this to be done, but you want your ticket bought for, especially if it's a first date. And it was very awkward to like be standing there at the little ticket house thing and then have your date turn around and be like, you're up, like you're next, when you were expecting them to have your ticket for you. And no big deal, like, oh, okay, cool. I just didn't know we were buying each other's our own tickets, you know what I mean? And I only say that to be a red flag because that could be very like stingy, and then that's very hard to deal with in a relationship, especially when you marry and you like have kids and what, like, you, it's very hard to keep track of every penny, and sometimes you are going to pay more than your partner and vice versa. So that is just a red flag because I saw it through, you know. I saw the I don't know how to put it into words, but I think that would be one. What else? Ooh, big red flag. I'm so glad that has never happened to me, but telling you what to wear, or like if you can't wear something, that would be a big no-no for me. Bless my husband's soul, he will admit that a lot of the outfits I put together, they're just not his vibe. But he never tells me like that's ugly until maybe later where I'm like, I don't think I like that very much. He was like, oh, thank God, because that was ugly. So things like that, where for us it's all fun now, but if you're in a relationship and like you're expressing yourself through your clothes or through your makeup, and your partner has something to say on how you look and it's not nice, I think that's a red flag. Like, no, thank you. Also, an easy red flag is, this is for the ladies, watch how the men talk to their mom, you know, and how they how that relationship is, because 9 out of 10 times that's how they're going to treat you. Like, if that's how they treat their mother, imagine how they're going to treat you. That's just, in my opinion, an easy one. Okay, worst advice I have ever given. Ooh, I should have thought about this one because that's a good deep one, and I don't know. It's hard to say like if that I gave advice and then it was bad, because like how will I know that? But at the same time, I could see maybe things I've said in the past be like, maybe that's not the best advice. So let me think. Okay, I don't know if there's like a specific worst advice I could give you, but maybe like when somebody tells you like to go for it, but it's maybe not in your best interest, but maybe they want to sabotage you. And I say that because I feel like that's happened, and it's very easy for it to happen where they're like, no, yeah, that's a great idea, but deep down they're kind of like, I don't know if I would do that myself, but you go for it, almost because they know like you will fail, or it's just not the best idea, and they maybe don't want to see you succeed in that specific area. I think maybe that would be the one thing I can think of to be the worst advice, because I don't think I've ever, I don't, see, I'm conflicted because I don't think I give out a bunch of advice. But then again, like I have I have people that come to me in my life where I think they value my opinion a lot, and I'm also very careful because of that. I don't ever want to say or tell people what to do, which is ironic because I want people to tell me what to do. It's just easier that way, right? Like, just tell me what to do and I don't have to think about it. But I don't think I have specifically, or I am aware that I have given bad advice. But you know what? If I have given you advice, let me know if it was good or bad, because I can't truly think of something specific. Do you meditate is the next question. I don't. I have tried it. I don't know if it's for me, or maybe I just don't do it right, because I just don't. I just find myself having a hard time like sitting through a meditation, and I have done it in like my work and in therapy. Hold on, we're gonna take a quick snack break. Okay, sorry. Diabetes had other plans for us today, and I needed a snack for my low sugar. Okay, but we're back. Where was I? I'm trying to also do this while the baby sleeps, so I like chug the juice and whatnot. So let's get back at, okay, meditating. Do I? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, I'm still sick. Do I meditate? Not really. No, it's kind of hard for me, and I feel like I have done it a couple times. And yeah, I do feel better, but just like other people have initiated, like, let's meditate. I'm not one to want to do it, or that's not my go-to. So no, I don't meditate. How tall are you? You guys are gonna expose me. I'm 5'1", very short. I hope I look taller. If you are disappointed, I'm sorry. My last Instagram search. Ooh. Let me look it up. My last Instagram search was Lalaboo Baby. Oh. There's my little alarm. Lalaboo Baby. That's carrier company, like, where for you to carry your babies on you. I was searching up a video on how to wrap your carrier so that you can hold your baby on your back instead of in your front. So yeah, that was my last Instagram search. I like them, but I feel like I might try some other carriers next time. And I tried a couple actually. Let's go to the other questions that I had on the phone. Can we please get together soon? It depends who you are. So these are anonymous, so I don't know who's sending them. So it depends who you are, you know. Next one. Do you know about the Mandela effect? A little bit, or maybe I don't. I will have to search it, but I've seen videos. Isn't it like, you know, how you remember, for example, the Monopoly little character from the game? Like, do you remember him with like that one glass thing on his eye? Like, I don't know what it was. Or do you not? Like that kind of stuff. Is that what it is? Oh, baby's waking up. What do you think about climate change? I think climate change is very real and it's proven itself, right? I feel like the winters are different all the time, or definitely gets a lot warmer. Wildfires, I don't know, right? I do believe in climate change, and I believe even like eating meat and how that's affecting it. I saw a documentary on it, and who knew that the cows was gonna contribute to our climate change mess. What's your least and favorite part of being a mom? This one's good. What's my least favorite part of being a mom is to not be able to turn it off. Like, when you, even if you take a break, you're not taking a break because it's impossible for your mind to shut off the existence of your child. You know, you're always going to worry about them. you're always going to just make sure that they're fine and safe. And so I think that part is my least favorite, because I just sometimes wish I I could get a break. See, and he's crying right now, so we might have to go get him. Also, like, even if you're sleeping, do you really get a full, like, a break? Because I feel like I'm aware. Okay, I had to go get the baby, so he's with us. But I think that would be my least favorite part. And also, like, not being able to, for example, when he was sick, like, oh, you feel so like powerless. Like, you wish you could help them and you can take that pain away. And I mean, you just can't, right? They have to fight the virus themselves. And so not being able to do that kind of stuff, I feel like was my least favorite thing. Um my favorite thing would be just watching them grow. Sorry. Um that's my favorite. Just watching him do new things is so okay. I got a cough attack. But we're back. Um Watching him do things is just so fulfilling. Like, you just feel so proud. And of course, when they're babies, it's like the smallest thing, like going on to his side. And I think for me it's also a little bit different, because I have wondered so many things, like how will he do X, Y, and Z because of his hand difference. And having him just do whatever he wants, however he wants to do it, has been next level fulfillment for me. Like, I'm beyond proud, because like, for us, we're so used to doing things with what we've got, and that's most of us, with two hands. And so for him, what he has is how he knows the world, and that's the only thing he knows. So nothing's happened to him, and nothing's really different for him, because that's all he knows. And he's just, doing things and playing things and grabbing things his own way. And I think that's been my favorite part. And then watching him too, like, experience new things, like when you take him, to the park for the first time, and just having them be that, like, happy and excited for things. Also, sorry, I'm like, my throat is getting dry. Um, his first laugh, oh, that was so, like, such a sweet moment. And I still cry sometimes when he laughs, because it's the cutest thing ever. But yeah, I think that's my favorite part, just watching your little guys, your little babies, come into their own personality and their own self. It's been so fun. Okay, next one. Let's see how many I can do before this cough comes back. Oh, we did. Okay. How do you feel about boundaries with your significant other's family? This is a really good question. I think boundaries are necessary. We have a special dynamic, I feel like, with my family, because he doesn't have much family around us. Like, they don't live around us. He's got a handful, but even so, we're not so much like hanging out every day, or they're not a huge part of our life, unfortunately. Um, but boundaries are definitely important. And I say that because I haven't had to put so many boundaries, at least not yet. And the thought of it makes me a little uncomfortable. So I will say, I think boundaries in general can be uncomfortable, especially if you have to remind somebody of where your boundary is. But I think definitely the boundary needs to be there, no matter who you are, no matter if it's your own family or if it's your significant other's family, because you can put boundaries to other people, right? Like, that's what a boundary is. It's not just boundary for my close family members because that's what's allowed. No, everybody needs a boundary, or else how do they know what goes and what doesn't go with you? And that's for everybody. Every single person, every single human being should, and they do have boundaries, but they should voice them. So I think boundaries with your significant other are very much acceptable in my book, and understandable and needed sometimes, especially if it's to protect your mental health, to protect your well-being, to protect your family. 100%. Boundaries need to be there. And especially if there's kids involved, like, respect my boundaries. And even myself have a hard time with saying certain things to, like, my parents, because it's all comes from a good place, and it all comes just from the cultural norms. I'll give you an example. Like, it's very common for the Latino culture to make comments about, like, body at such a young age, like que gordito, or que morenito, que güerito, or ay que flaca, like, you're so skinny, or, so chubby, and all those things. Like, they don't mean them in a harmful way, but I've had to say, listen, once my baby understands words, I do not want to hear any comment about the chubby, or look at the belly, or none of that stuff, because subconsciously you grow up with that, and that messes with you in your older years. We already have social media to mess us up in that way with our body image. Let's not hear it from the family. And so I think if you can slowly start putting boundaries to make you a little bit more comfortable and easier, then do that. I think, boundaries are necessary, and they can be as small as, like, hey, just don't say those words around my kid, to as big as, my boundary is, for example, if you have a child involved, like, you can hang out with my child if I'm there, or you're just simply not allowed to watch my child. Like, whatever that boundary needs to be, I 100% think and support all boundaries, no matter if it's your family or your significant others, because people should not be offended by boundaries. They're there for a reason. Do you even like school? Not really. No, I do not. Oh, baby's gonna start playing. I do not really like school. I don't want to say that I don't believe in it, because I do think that school is great, especially, like, if you're going for a doctor, please go to school. But it's just become such a system of, that's the path you need to go. Like, that's just what it is. You finish high school, and then you go to college, and then you're going to get your career, where I don't think life happens like that anymore, especially with the internet nowadays. But no, I don't really like school. Which is a shame, because I don't want to toot my own horn, but like, school comes easy to me. The material, like, if that makes sense, I've never had a hard time really in school where, like, I'm falling behind and I need a tutor. That's never really happened to me, but I just don't like the structure of it. I hate homework. Fun fact, I switched to online school for my entire bachelor's, and that just worked way better for me. There was a learning curve within myself to do online versus going in person, because you have to have your own discipline, and you have to manage your time, independently. But once I got the hang of that, online for me was way better. And again, just the homework and the structure of all that, and the reading material and whatnot, like, it's not very enjoyable. But anyways, I think that was our last question. I hope this was somewhat entertaining, or you learned something. Again, thanks for your patience. This was just a little episode to, have a little chit chat, and a little bit more laid back, where I didn't have to think so much, just because, we've been sick over here. So I hope you liked it. I will prepare the mental health one, and that one will be a lot better. Hopefully more educational, or more interesting for you. But yeah, thank you for all of you who have sent the questions over. I really appreciate it. You guys had some really, really good ones. Like always, don't forget to enter your diary entry. Again, diary entries where pretend like it's your diary and you will say, "Dear podcast, dear diary, today so and so ignored me at school." JK, JK. Um, Today my mom made me cry. No, just kidding. But send me your diary entries so we can discuss them, or just chit chat, have a little fun with it. And again, diary entries, because I get a lot of questions still sent on there, like, what's your favorite color, or things like that. And I appreciate the interest. But let's have those diary entries, okay? And what else? What else? Oh, our motivational jar. Where is it? Okay, let's do a motivation of the day. If this is the first episode you are listening to, I have a motivational jar. I posted a picture on our Instagram, dear_podcast. And what it is a little jar full of paper stars folded, and there's a cute little motivational message quote on the inside. And if you know, I always struggle to open these. I don't know I don't even know how to fold a little paper into a star. Oh, hold on, I dropped it. Okay, let me try it again. Blood, sweat, and respect. First two you give, last one you earn. Ooh, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. So there you go. Blood, sweat, and respect. The first two you give, the last one you earn. There you go. You gotta give your blood and sweat before you get respect, said The Rock. Anyways, I hope this was entertaining. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for the patience. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode on the small businesses. I thought to throw in the little sponsor at the end, because you know what? It is me. It is coming out of my money anyways. If you don't know, it costs money for you to have a podcast monthly. So Baby Nava probably sponsored that last episode. But if you guys want to check us out, I also just purchased some new items coming for the spring. This stuff takes time. So I will keep you updated, but babynava.com. Our Instagram is babynava_, and you can shop cute little pieces there and more sizes to come. But anyways, thank you so much again. Appreciate every single one of you. Even if one of you is listening, hi, thank you so much for participating and supporting my crazy ideas. But we'll see you in the next one. Bye.